what you want. And
welcome, No Means Nerds. It is episode 22 of No Means No Thing, No Means Nothing, the podcast where we inadvisably try to find the very best No Means No song of all time, a fool's errand, of which you have chosen to join us. Thank you very much. I'm one of your hosts, Jordan.
I'm Matthew.
I am Michelle, the lady in this group.
And I must thank my lovely podcast partners for recording 2 weeks in a row so that I can not record on vacation next Tuesday. So thank you very much. But because of that, we have managed to have a special, I don't know, it's special for me. I don't know what's this.
It's special for all of us.
It's maybe special for him too. So yeah, we have a guest tonight.
Yay! Introduce yourself.
The guest's name is Rolf.
Rolf! And remember to hold
guys.
that mic right up to your mouth when you're actually talking.
Yeah,
you want-
Rolf.
You want to put it in my mouth?
Not in
Come
your
on.
mouth.
No,
Oh, God,
no.
that's bad.
You-
That's
you-
bad
you-
podcasting.
You got to ask nicely, and maybe I will.
I'll ask very meanly.
So Rolf is my oldest friend and happens to be in Vancouver for work right now, and decided to come over, and he's on the other side of the old garage here trying desperately to not speak into each other's microphones.
Very good. And Rolf is for sure going to join us in one of my favorite parts of this podcast, which is, what are you drinking? Let's start where, at least in my screen, top left, Michelle, what you got going on?
I have the old
Yay!
standby. Jesus
There we go.
Christ.
Widget.
Where's my widget? Hello. Oh,
Hello.
fuck. Does that mean I get no gas?
Captain?
Oh, you got
Bad
gas.
Hey, you got a man bun on, so I'd rather have gas than that.
guy?
This is.
I should really let
Ooh, I
my
love
down
that
my hair
sound.
for the podcast.
That really
Diet?
is ASMR for me. All right, well,
Yeah,
I think
you
I
explained what that was. Now I know.
think we should be polite and let Rolf go next.
Yeah.
Oh, very kind, guys. On my way over here, I stopped by the liquor store. I'm sick of listening to Matt and all of his gross, sour, fruity beers.
Yeah,
And,
exactly. I totally agree with
So
you.
are we. So are we.
The shade he throws on IPAs and hops is just beyond the pale. So
Beyond the pale ale?
No pun intended. Oh boy.
You'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. So I picked up a High Five Hazy IPA from Yellow Dog Brewing. It's
Nice.
40 on the IBU, 7% alcohol. I should be
Woohoo!
well shit-faced by the end of the show, I have a feeling.
Excellent. Very
Look at that.
good.
There he goes.
Crack it open.
Matthew,
I've
you
got-
didn't even get him a pint glass? The hell kind of
No, you gotta drink out of a
hospitality is
can.
this? Oh, you don't?
Never rushed.
He's fine.
He's fine. He can fucking deal. Well, you know what I got? I cracked open that bottle last week, which was a generous gift for my wife. So I'm going with this brown gold, the Amarniac,
Yeah.
and see how quickly I can kill this bottle. See if it can last through the rest of the season. We'll
That's
see.
a deep pour you got there.
I'm hoping to get my whistle wet a little bit. We'll
Nice,
see.
nice.
That is a beautiful color. That cheap shit I got that wasn't cheap is
Yeah,
too
no.
yellow.
Yeah, no, it was too yellow. This is like a nice. It's got to be
Yeah.
that nice dark amber.
No, it wasn't amber at all. It was like pea.
Yeah.
Well, that's really gross. All right, Matthew,
Yeah.
where are you at today?
Well, I'm not allowed to have a choice this week because last I was promised Michelle.
Oh,
that
that's
I would
right.
Have this special beer here, this one. But I'm actually kind of
Oh, yeah.
pissed off.
Oh
at it.
yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard. That's right.
Yeah, so they're on a Zamboni. It's Bob and Doug McKenzie. They're on a
I
Zamboni.
gotta get one of those.
That's kitted out like the General Lee, and the beer is called the Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh,
and
that's hilarious.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm upset at it because there's a very, very serious terrible wordplay. It should be.
Oh, really?
It's-
Like you're not guilty of that shit?
No, this
half
is
the
better.
time we're
This is
talking?
better. This is better. It's a missed opportunity. It's the Dukes of Hazzard, right? But it's fucking Bob and Doug McKenzie, so it should be the Dukes of Hozard.
Oh,
I mean, for
I don't
fuck's
even
sake.
get the hoser. Take off your hoser. All right.
The court recognizes Matthew as being correct, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You think
And
you
it's
could
like
get
they're
Blair
local,
to do-
this Parallel 49.
You took them to dad joke court and summary judgment.
And I have a
on your
backup
part.
because this is, although it is 9.2 of Jesus Christ. I forgot about that.
Holy crap.
Oh boy, it's gonna be a fun one.
I have a backup of Blue Buck, which is Phillips Brewing from Victoria, BC. And
That's fine, but no, you're taking Tukes of
No.
Hoser.
The
You mean
Blue
it's your,
Buck is the
your
back.
second one?
Yeah.
I got you. The back half.
You're
That's funny because
officially-
shout out to my
You're not driving me home, Matt.
No.
no.
Let's just get that out there.
Shout out to my friends Chris and Todd, who I just visited in Portland, who used to be in a band called Zamboni. That's my first
Zamboni.
introduction to that word.
Cool.
Yep. And
Matthew,
someday
is-
they'll make it to this point in the pod.
Is that place you said that was local? Like you could go up there and say, you guys
Oh, that's
are
not very good.
Oh no!
That face you made is not good.
You're
I hope they're not
surprised at a 9.2 beer.
Yeah.
Come on. You're
Why
asking
don't you
for
get
it.
another one? Keep the
Yeah,
can
once
off.
you get over a certain percentage of alcohol, it's less about the flavor and the subtleties,
Yeah.
and more just about the shit face.
Ah.
I gotta take a leak so bad I can taste it.
Oh, pitter patter. Well, fuck, guys. Number one, first fuck of the night. So,
One fuck.
Was it?
maybe we have, I would say, oh boy, I'm getting some good echo here. We have a raft of epics here.
Oh,
These
whatever you did,
are-
just fixed it. Yay.
What happened?
There was echo and now there isn't. Oh, maybe it was, that's what it was.
Oh, so
Ralph
it's
made it.
Rolf's fault. Well, we'll cue you in when it's time to come back in, sir.
Awesome.
Appreciate you taking one for the team. Now you just get to laugh at us in silence, and make fun of us.
Keep that tongue in your mouth too.
We've got 4 epic songs as usual, but I don't know. For me, these are fuck. This is going to be. I'm looking forward to this one at least. I think these are really interesting pair-ups,
It
matchups.
happens ridiculously often that songs with 2 versions end up going up against each other.
Going against each other, and
Yeah.
and you know, especially you and I lyrically, when we get into these, we may find. I mean, I certainly find there's some weird, cool fucking. I mean, it's no means no.
Oh, yeah,
the themes are resonant throughout all the songs, but
Exactly.
this is a great pair up. This is a great fucking pair up. So
Well, all of these are intertwined tonight.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So
No.
we're gonna start off tonight with 2 songs from, I guess. Well, yeah, 2 different eras, and yes, as Matthew said, they both have 2 versions. So the first song is "This Wound Will Never Heal," off of One Down, 2 to Go, but in temporally before that, but released after that, recorded by Andy and the boys on 0 + 2 = 1.5. So there are those 2 versions of it. We'll talk about both of those. And it's going up against State of Grace, which I believe was first recorded as the Mr. Wrong song on Mr. Wrong Fights the System. I think the B-side for that was Into the World,
Yep.
which is fucking great. Do we have that on the list, or we don't because it's just Mr. Wrong? I don't even remember.
I think it becomes canon because it got folded into a later release
the
of
wrong
Wrong.
pressing. Good,
Yeah.
because that's fucking great. Parker asked me about that all the time. He's like, "Do you
I
guys
don't
have
know
Into the
what you're
World on
talking
there?"
about.
You'll hear it. So it's on that one, and then of course, most of us know it from "World to the World" as such, right? It's the song that comes right before the Jungle, which we just recently.
Which is a full
recently-
band
so
version and
penultimate-
not a Mr. Wrong version.
That's right. So that's the penultimate track. So "This
know
Wound Will
shit.
Never Heal," 1994 versus "State of Grace," 1995. 2 crazy fucking epic songs, and I'm going to go first this time. But we're going to start with a bit of "This Wound Will Never Heal," and I'm going to take a big old fucking swig for this.
What surrounds me gives no shelter. What binds me does not hold. And the light that bathes me and warms my skin in my eyes is always cold. That light flows through a window. See the figure that's seated there. She holds an ivory-handled comb and draws it through her hair.
All right. All right. This song is a real
Calgon commercial?
It's got a ton of fucking pathos. It is a gut punch for me every time I hear it. I think this is Rob I just love the poetry of this. Yes, it's not a pyrotechnic song. Yes, they're not falling all over themselves with like virtuosic riffs or any of that shit, but it is so poetically gorgeous, and I feel like it's one of their songs that has incredibly rich emotional content. And I remember the first time hearing this and just being blown fucking away by it. And let me take a moment maybe to back up before I dive into any of my bullshit about what I think it means, but to talk about the two versions, because they're not completely different. They're not as different maybe as some of the other versions, but there are some important differences. I think to me, the most important difference between the two versions is Rob vocal delivery.
Oh yeah,
I really like both of the versions a lot, and there are elements of one or the other that I like more. But I think, for me anyway, Rob's vocal delivery in the 1 Down 2 to Go version is really fucking good, and not as good. I mean, way better than the other one. Only because I love how he goes up an octave for a lot of those verses, and I think it gives a lot of intensity to the lyrics, and I really like that. I think the guitar, of course, I love that Andy plays on the 1.5 version, and there's some beautiful work that he does, textures in the guitar that just aren't present in the 1 Down 2 to Go. So I like that part better. It's interesting they took the whole song up like a half step or a full step. They're not the same key.
And the bass tone extremely different too.
The bass tone is extremely different, and the drumming too. Like in the 0 + 2 = 1.5, John is doing these great kind of tom rolls on the slow verses, but in the 1 Down 2 to Go, he does that little wood block, just like a dun 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 dun. It's just this. It's a more sort of laid back, not loungy, but it's like a weird laid back thing. I don't know. It's interesting. It's almost like if I could pick and choose bits of both versions and crunch them together, the world wouldn't be able to handle this song. It'd be too good.
The world wouldn't heal.
The world would never heal. The wound would never close. Exactly. Right. But I think both versions stand on their own. Strangely, the 1.5, not strangely, I guess, but the 1.5 version's longer by about 30 seconds. I think there's a couple of the verses that they play. They do a couple more rounds of the bits, but both versions are awesome. I think this song, again, disclaimer, this is just my own fucking bullshit interpretation, but what a beautiful song about trauma and about the effect of trauma, especially the trauma of a child who's experienced abuse. And you've got this first image, and he plays with this poetically throughout the whole song of describing this house, right? There's a house by a road on a hill, and then it's not like there is no house, there is no hill, there is no road. This idea that on one level, there are these physical objects, but these are objects that mean something to all of us, kind of metaphorically and archetypally about home, about feeling home, about comfort, about peace. And and they don't mean any of that to this person, because this is where the trauma was. So they're empty. They don't have that meaning. But at the same time, I feel like when he does that throughout the song, it's this idea that maybe those things, this is an adult now kind of reflecting back, those things don't exist anymore. That house isn't there anymore. That woman isn't sitting by the window anymore, but that person still lives there because they're stuck on the trauma. They're stuck in that moment. They're stuck there forever because that trauma just fucking wrecked them. So you've got this, but he just does it so beautifully. It's so sad and such an honest depiction of trauma. It's hard to imagine that Rob didn't have a really traumatic life, because he can so eloquently go there, but from all accounts he didn't. I think from all accounts his parents were pretty great and middle class or whatever, but they weren't abused as kids. They didn't live dad, that wasn't their life. But
the parents let him fucking play in the basement and shit. So
yeah, exactly. But it doesn't matter. He's such an insightful thinker about just, human life, about being, that he can really tap into something real. This feels like a really beautiful encapsulation of trauma. And that verse of, I hope I hope you love me. I need you with all my soul. But what you are but who you are and what you feel is something I'll never know. That's such a sad but beautiful and true encapsulation of all of our states, but especially of someone who's experienced trauma, someone who really needs other people, but knows that at their heart, they'll never be able to connect because that wound will never heal, right? That wound will never close. It was just, they're just fucking ruined. I don't know, man. This song is just, I don't know that this song will go super far in the podcast, but in my little corner, it could absolutely go super fucking far down the road. Cause I think it's beautiful. It may not have the sort of punk aesthetic or pyrotechnics that some of their other songs do.
It's psychiatrist though. It's in the psychiatrist category.
Well, and it's emotionally true. It's one of these songs that Rob's just really fucking speaking to us and through the music, which is this, I mean, I think those explosions of anger and how they're sort of punctuated in the first 2 times they come through. And in the last time, it just really fucking busts through and doesn't let up. And it's just that, he encapsulates and illustrates for us the feeling of trauma through the lyrics and through the music. Again, this is one of those holographic songs to me where everything's a part of it. It's all totally suited to what he's trying to say. Nothing is tacked on. It doesn't feel like a song to me where the music was written in one place and the lyrics were written in another. It all feels of a piece. I think I probably got a lot more notes on it, but I think I've pretty much said everything I want to say about it. I just love it. This song wrecks me every time I hear it. And it's definitely one of those where I can hit rewind on it a bunch of times and listen to it 3 or 4 times in a row. And it doesn't feel old. It doesn't feel stale to me. I adore it. I love it.
Do you have a which version you like better, or is it?
I like the 1 down 2 to go because of Rob's singing. I think that because that's what's most important to me in the song is his vocal delivery and the lyrics more than anything else, because that's where I think that shines more in that version. That's the one I would pick as my favorite, but I do think they're both great. So I don't know that I feel super strongly about that, but his vocal delivery in 1 down is just stunning. One of my favorite of his actual vocal performances, I think, throughout any of the songs. It's so honest, so raw, so real. Anyway. All right. I think, who did we decide goes next? I think Michelle, you get to.
I want to be the monkey in the middle.
Yeah, you're the meat.
Okay. Gosh, this song is in the same vein as the one against it. That's my first sentence I wrote. I don't know if that's
true.
Good. Yeah. You could grab Bob Ross and have him paint this picture of the song.
Ooh, I want a Bob Ross version of this song. Holy fuck. That'd be great.
Because then he'd have to erase it all then.
Be like Bob Ross mixed with Lovecraft.
Just have a gothy little tree.
I always actually pictured that. I always picture that Andrew Wyeth painting. Isn't it Andrew Wyeth of the woman lying? Oh,
hey,
sorry.
It's not your turn.
Sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
I don't even know who
I'll delete
is,
that.
so.
I'll delete that from the podcast. Go ahead.
All right,
Steve.
I got Bob Ross, so try and beat that with your Bob Weymouth. Okay. I've actually been to Rob's house. Yes, I have. And I have no idea where he gets the song ideas. I know it was... we had sushi. Anyways, I have no idea where he gets the song ideas, though the lyrics allude to an earlier time in his life, in a home he either had or equates to. I don't know if this song's about himself, but I hope it's not. But if it is, I'm glad he can express himself. The line, "This wound will never heal, and nothing could matter less than what I think or what I feel." God, yeah, doesn't he sound amazing when he sings that? You can just hear it, can't you? It's fucking cool. It's stupendous. The song structure is slower storytelling lines with epic bursts of pain roaring out. The man has been hurt, and once again he shows us his scars, scabs, and let us all know how much it hurt then and now, and how much it sucks. It's an epic piece of the aftermath of hurt.
Excellent.
Thank
Fucking
you.
excellent.
I hope.
All right, Matthew.
Okay, I didn't mean to scream at you because I.
No, I know. It's
totally,
like you were going to say it. I'm like, oh no, I took it. Yeah,
I totally agree. Yeah, I know. It's definitely Christina's World by Andrew Wyeth. I mean, the little house on a hill and everything like that, and definitely the sort of stark feeling of it, and sort of the confusing contrast. Yeah. Anyway, haunting painting. If you've ever seen it, look it up. Andrew Wyeth, Christina's World.
So fucking
very
good.
famous.
Is it the chick on the hill looking at the house?
Yes,
Is
correct.
That the one?
Exactly
Is that
right.
the one?
That's the
That's
one.
Did
the
I
one.
just impress myself?
You just got it. You got it.
Her hair's, like,
All
blowing in the
right.
wind and shit?
I don't know if it
No,
is.
she's
I think she
lying
has
down.
Yeah,
she's
sort
like
of,
has a
Yeah,
bun.
her hair's
She's
like
yeah.
blowing and shit.
It might be, yeah, might be.
I think
Is
it.
blowing?
I can't believe I just guessed that.
yeah.
All right, please
It's a
continue.
little bit of a definitely a somber song, and I'll just share this with you a little bit. Sometimes I just type the name of the song. I sadly don't have Mr. Right, Mr. Wrong anymore. I don't know what happened to it, but I wanted to look up the lyrics, and so I had to go to the internet, and the autofill in Google. So it was but wounded is never a wounded never heals. This wound will never heal. And one of the suggestions was, is a sore that doesn't heal always cancer?
What?
And it's like dumb, but if somebody's actually thinking that, I feel so bad for them,
Oofa doofa.
because they must feel so shitty and like
Yeah.
scared all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, it felt so
Yeah.
bad because somebody somewhere thinks that that's a thing. Anyway,
It's not cancer. It's MRSA. Don't worry. Anyway,
yeah, the bass on the 0 plus 1.5 version is a little more sinuous, much more tighter and more resonant on Mr. Right. I actually heard the 0 plus 2 goes 1.5 version first because I had that tape from
That's right.
ages and ages ago.
Yeah.
So it's the one that I
Punk
kind of
ass.
got to know and kind of like better because it's a little less.
Rolf looks.
less
You've
finished.
upset your friend.
Yeah, it's this again sort of dual nature of people coping with trauma. I think you're exactly right. It's these idealizations, these coping measures of like a house on a tree, a house on a hill, a woman combing her hair and everything like that, versus kind of pain, numbness, nothingness. And he lives in both places. That lives in the coping and lives in the coping not working. His voice seems unusually strained. I think the vocal delivery in both versions is really something else. That he's really feeling it, even if he didn't experience it. I think he's definitely feeling it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the quiet and loud. I love that contrast in No Means No songs, as I have said many times. But also the vocals, and it is interesting to pay attention to which parts he emphasizes. Which parts are a little more strained and which parts are softer. And even the playing becomes more intense in certain points. I mean, the crescendos and decrescendos are very, I don't know, atypical in some ways. And maybe that's why it didn't make it onto any sort of canon albums exactly. But yeah, I love this song. It was probably that and Lost were my favorite off of the version of 0 plus 2 is 1.5 that I had so very many years before it actually came out. It sort of reminds me a little bit of some of those Middle Eastern influences that and interests that Rob seems to display in a couple of different songs. I found it really interesting. I saw my mother turn to me when she heard my voice call out. The mother is distant, and I wonder whether the figure, the combing her hair, is also the mother. Where
that was my thinking. Yeah.
That the mother is there, maybe also abused, but doesn't help the little kid being abused. Why didn't she protect him, sort of thing? Or maybe she was killed. Who knows? She was there and then she wasn't there. So maybe that's part of the trauma, and maybe it was a sequence of abuse. It's hard to know, of course, because I don't think Rob actually went through it, like you say. But
no.
He sure evokes it really well.
Mm-hmm.
The one of the reasons that I don't care for the Mr. Wrong version as much as one little syllable, where I think it's very unusual for Rob.
What?
And it's there, and it isn't there in the 0 plus 2 is 1.5 version. The line, more than I can bear. It's just
where he does that.
Yeah. I hate that. I hate it. It sounds bad.
What
it
are
wrecks
you
the song
talking
for
about?
me. It's just, Yeah, it's
Yeah, the way he
more
says
than
yeah.
I can bear. Yeah.
Oh, you don't like the yeah.
I don't like the yeah. It's not there
I'll
in the
give that
version I
one
got
to you.
used to.
I'll give that one to you. It doesn't ruin the song for me, but that is not the highlight of his delivery in that song for sure.
For sure not.
Yeah.
There is another little lyrical difference. And the light shines through a window and the light flows through a window, which is slightly different. I was kind of hoping when I looked up the lyrics online, it said the light falls through a window, which would have been
Where the
interesting
hell are
again.
you?
It's kind of right in the middle. It's
Yeah.
right in the middle. They were just splitting the difference.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. Like you mentioned the mother thing. I think that's really fucking awesome because this is another thing that they do all the time. That they're such a feminist band, and when they talk about abuse, it's patriarchal abuse mostly, right? It's the drunk father or the man who's inflicting it, and the mother. I think you're right to highlight in this sense, like they're looking to them for comfort, but there's no explicit sense that the mother saves them or gives them comfort.
And again,
clearly a sense that they're abused, but
maybe super idealized, like she
right.
holds an ivory handled comb and draws it through her hair. The sunlight's fine. So these idealized images, and then they just go away.
And the sadness when they deconstruct that there is no light to see by, there's no one sitting there. The sadness and pain in his voice. I mean, that's just fucking genius delivery. He is so good at that. He's so good. Fuck.
Yeah. Anyway, that's about all I got to say about that. Wonderful song. I wish more people knew it.
If anybody listening to this pod is not convinced that One Down, Two to Go is a fucking amazing album that deserves your love and attention, you're fucking crazy. It is as good. Like, it may not be as cohesive because it's all over the map as some of their other
odds
things.
And sods,
but there are some songs on there
Those
that
are the best albums from
that
bands,
maybe
though.
some of those songs didn't fit on any of the albums, but that doesn't mean that some of those songs aren't absolutely some of the pinnacle of what they've created. There's some fucking great stuff on there. Anyway, listen to it. Just listen to it more. So, all right, we're gonna move on. Dummies? Come on, dummies.
Yeah.
Bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
most of you are probably going like, it's not me. I love that album. What are you talking about? All right, we're going to talk about its contender, which I don't know. I mean, it's a good thing to match it up against, but I'm not happy to have to choose between these two babies.
No.
State of Grace off World to the World or Mr. Wrong Fights the System. I'm not sure which one I'm going to play a clip from, but here it is.
If I take a shit in your puppet world, it's only so you know me by my smell. I know you turn away like you don't understand. You know to it. You don't wanna look, you don't wanna touch, you don't wanna pay 'cause it costs so much. You just smile and wish me well. Well, you can go to hell, 'cause I'm lying in a state. I'm in lying in a state of grace. I'm lying in a state. I've been lying to myself, and it can't go on. No,
That's how I lead in my clips now, like Michelle.
Harmony.
Nice. All right, State of Grace. So I'm going to go first again after we're done disgusting our listeners who've all now ripped their earbuds out and stomped on them.
It's a music disgusting podcast.
Yeah,
Not disgusting.
I've heard. Of
We're
course, I've heard
disgusting.
both of these. Both these versions are fucking great. The Mr. Wrong version proves that Rob can deliver just as much power and gravitas and pathos and just shredding just himself and a bass as he can with the full band behind him. That's an incredible piece of work. I really wish now, Matthew, you've said, not to digress too much, but you've said you've got to see some Mr. Wrong shows. Do you remember him playing this? Did you see this?
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, I don't have the fine grained memory that you do in terms of specific songs being played.
My fine grained memory is like it's just punctuated. I got little bright bits and then
Is that
vast
'cause you were
periods of
inebriated
dullness.
during the show? Were you
Probably
a little
excited.
reckless?
Probably
I was
excited. Yeah.
I was
I'm
high
at a
as
No Means
fuck,
No
so
show.
that's about it.
Whee!
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In any event, both versions are fantastic. They're drastically different because one is just Rob singing this on his own, and another is with the full backup band. Admittedly, the first time, on Worldhood, so we've got Tom on there. But I think both versions are fantastic. I'm not going to hold one against the other, actually, because they're so different. I mean, they share the same DNA, the same structure, all of that. They're not structurally that different, other than all the shit that the other elements add under it. But functionally, they still are the same song. So I don't have one that's a favorite of the other. They're because one's just Rob and the one's the whole band. I love them both equally, and I'll hold them both in my arms close and let them suckle at my breast. So I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, that was a little bad. That was a little bad. It's a little bad. That's all right.
That's why you got two breasts.
I got two breasts, one for each song.
Oh God.
So another song that gut punches me. My experience in the community with this song is that people kind of brush it off a little bit. And I could be wrong about that. I'm hoping that's not the case for most of the listeners out there, but I've seen a lot of people kind of brush it off. Certainly reviewers always brush it off. Anytime I read reviews of this album, they'd be like, man, this song, whatever. Like, fuck you, man. This song is awesome. This song is so good. And I think this is Michelle, to your point, you pointed this out. This is absolutely a song thematically that fits right in with This Wound Will Never Heal. I almost feel like this is the song that the protagonist from This Wound Will Never Heal will sing when they're starting to begin to try to recover from trauma, when they're pulling their head up from the recovery, dealing with that trauma and starting to go, you know what?
Trauma album.
I'm gonna fucking go out there and just fucking try to deal with this.
Right.
First of all, I want to point. Rob, again, I've said this a lot of times.
Differ with you there, but okay.
Exactly. He is my favorite lyricist, hands down. I'm not afraid to say that he stands above any lyricist of any band I'm aware of, which, again, it's not a huge number of bands, but there's a lot of bands I love that have great fucking lyricists. Hop Along, great fucking lyrics. Pavement, great fucking lyrics. Leonard Cohen, great fucking lyrics. Fucking all those bands, great lyricists. Rob stands head and shoulders above them for me. And little things that he does, maybe they're tricks, but I love it. The chorus for this, lying in a state of grace. There's like at least 3 layers to that that are just gorgeous. He's lying in state, which is what you do when you're lying on the table dead in the embalming room or whatever, right? You're lying open casket. You're lying in state. So you're dead. You're dead to the world. The metaphor of being someone who feels dead to the world, which is the ultimate form of disconnection, right? I don't exist in this world. I'm just dead to it. I'm also lying, meaning fibbing. I'm telling untruth in this state. I'm lying to myself. I'm lying in this state. And then also, I'm lying in a state of grace. I'm not. I'm in a state of grace. This moment where he says, but then I felt, my heart was beating and I was still alive. They're actually realizing, wait a minute. No, wait. I'm fucking alive. I'm in a state of grace. This fact of just being a being on this planet Earth, I'm fucking alive. Fuck you. I'm not dead. I'm not disconnected. I'm alive. So in one verse, he goes from being a disconnected dead fucker who realizes he's lying to himself to, no, fuck you. I'm going to go out and I'm fucking alive. And it's all in just a few words that he can just kind of layer on top of each other, manipulate, but he gets all of that in this beautiful little package of the chorus. It's unbelievable to me that the way he can do wordplay and have it be so fucking meaningful.
I don't listen to music the same way you do, man. Wow.
But you listen to the music in ways I don't, that I fucking love.
I know,
so
but
that's why I'm super glad you're on this pod.
Do you think of all that shit when you hear that?
That's what gets me into this band so much. I'm a very brain-centered person, so getting to chew on the steak of Rob's lyrics and go, fucking shit, he has so much there to eat. He is a 12-course meal, and even that is like, well, there's still a room of courses outside. You just don't have the stomach for him yet, but we'll get there. So yeah, the lyric play of the chorus, the way he starts by saying, at first I told myself there was no more than the sound of a wind of an open door. This feeling of someone who's just like, yeah, there's no one coming to connect with me, and it's all their fault. That's just how the world is. He's externalizing everything. It's not my fault no one's connecting with me. It's because I'm a piece of shit, and that's just the way the world is. And he talks about, like he was looking out at the world, and he was looking at church and state, the rich and the great, the flags of sin that whirl and furl. It's all outside. But then he takes that moment of reflection to turn it in and go like, wait a minute. No, it's fucking me. Like I've been lying to myself. I'm the one that fucking caused the disconnection. I'm responsible for that, not fucking other people. And so then he steps up and he tries to go out there. And what happens to him? He meets other fucking people who are like, I don't think so, man. I'm not ready. But that's all right. He's still making that effort to go out and say, I'm going to fucking try to connect. I'm going to try to be real with you. And I think one of the all-time great lyric deliveries and lyric lines is that last bit of, if I take a shit in your perfect world, it's only so you know me by my smell, though you turn away like you can't understand, all too well. That whole fucking thing is just like,
have a
yeah, man, fuck you. And that's someone coming out of their disconnection, coming out of their shell, coming out of their trauma, and like, I am going to awkwardly and badly try to connect with those around me. And I know you're not ready for it, but that's just because you're not fucking ready for my realness. And I've always been really, the most ambiguous part to me, and ambiguous in the best way, is that part where he talks about in the middle, where he's like, you're my only friend, all I have is you, and who do I mean, who am I talking to? That middle part. I feel like he's talking to himself and to me at the same time in the best possible way. Like he's talking about himself, like that's all he can be talking about, but he's also actually really looking at fucking me directly. And I always imagine that in a show, that's when Rob would
what did you just say?
That's when Rob would lock eyes with you and be like, all right, I'm talking to you, motherfucker. It's you. Who else could I be talking to? I would love that moment.
Fucking you directly.
Yeah.
Kiss him.
It's those eyes in that mouse pad. I'd kiss him. But I love that moment. That's a very meta moment where he's like,
Rob. I'm convinced of it.
No, I want to have sex with his mind, if nothing else. I want him to make more music is what I want him to do.
Yeah.
But I love that middle part. I think that middle part is fucking great. And so musically, I'll leave a little meat on the bone here because I'm sure Matthew has a lot he wants to say about it too. Lyrically. Musically, haunting, menacing, and triumphant in that order. This song is very haunting. It has a menacing bass line to it, but it's also got a really triumphant fucking feeling in that sense of just someone standing up and going, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck me.
Smell my shit.
Not just fuck
Smell
you,
it.
but fuck me. This person's also given themselves the riot act. This is someone who's realized they've also been lying to themselves the whole fucking time. It's not everyone else's fault. It's their fault too. The guitar work is really haunting in this. I still kind of want to know. I'm hoping maybe in Jason's book, we'll find out whether Tom laid this down on the album. I've kind of heard both ways, that Tom was on the tour for this, but that Rob did some of the recording. It doesn't really matter, but I am kind of interested to know who's actually on these tracks. Bottom line though, I love the guitar in the song. The production is fucking great. The guitar sound fucking great. I love the way it goes from really kind of raucous, and like many songs on this album, it starts mid-bridge. Like it starts with a big fucking epic.
Does that thing. Yes.
This whole album does that so many times, just like My Politics and like all these songs just have these like, I'm starting in the crescendo.
Yeah.
We're not going to build up to shit. But then it drops way back down. Anyway, I think this song fucking slays. It is a perfect companion to This Wound Will Never Heal. And I want them to kiss and marry and go through together. And I don't want to kill either.
Oh,
wee little babies.
All right, I've talked for a long time because I have 4 pages of notes. Michelle, it's your turn.
4 pages.
I do. Yeah, last week I had
only
no
got
notes.
one
This week
measly little fucking 5x8 here.
That was more than I had last week, so I'm overcompensating this week.
Oh, I see. All right.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Michelle.
All right. I love the intro to the song. It sounds so mammoth. The first time I saw them in New York City, when this album was released, and I'm betting they absolutely played this. I can't remember if they did, but I'm betting they did.
They did on that tour for sure.
I would think so, because this sounds like something they could play live pretty easily. Rob's is again painting a vivid picture that meshes the lyrics and the music so well to convey the haunting story. It's lonely and urgent with a hefty dose of some good raunch. I love the line. You already said it. If I take a shit in your public world, it's only so you know me by my smell. And I didn't know if he was saying or smell or not, so I put a question mark there, but it makes sense because that's what you smell shit. Rob is so talented and he can really convey the sadness and pain. His relentless lamenting, you like that? Those are
That's
good words.
awesome.
His relentless lamenting bah, always lets the listener know just how bad he feels. It's art and it also leaves him quite vulnerable. The man feels the feels. It's humble and cathartic.
It's fucking great. That's fucking great. I don't know why you didn't want to go first this week. Those were great.
'Cause
You had
it's
great
just-
things to
it's-
say.
No, you guys
That was fucking great.
go nuts with the lyrics
Yeah,
and you dissect them and you get the
the liquor.
conjugations of all the words. I don't do that.
Conjugations and the
And
micturations of the.
declensions.
The clench.
All right, Matthew, what do you got for us?
I heard this first on Mr. Wrong Fights the System 7-inch, which is over there.
Nice. Mine's
Where?
over there in my son's
Where?
room. We both have it.
Yeah, hooray.
Here. Where?
So I heard it a little bit before it came out on Worldhood, and so I think that's my favorite version because it's just so intense, and I think that's probably feeds like my understanding of the song because it was just him, and it's such an intense song with just him singing, raging, and playing his bass. This is a Bob and Slade song, I think.
Yeah.
The duality of self, and I don't think that he's talking about the wider world or it's introspection. And I thought a lot about that wordplay as well. So lying in state, it's not just lying on the slab. It's sort of that term is reserved for important people, politician, heads of state, and everything like
right.
that. So like where
good point.
you're being observed, and people are coming by to show their respects to you and everything.
He'd lie
like
in
that.
state in my world, I'll tell you that.
And then, and then lying in a state of grace. State of grace. I looked up what that means specifically in a Christian context, and it is the state of sinlessness. And so, in this sort of analysis, I guess like the only sinlessness is in death, and so, he's lying, telling untruths in his state of grace. So like, and even in this sinless state, the only sinless possible state is to be dead, and he's still lying. So I think this is again sort of the regular rough, imperfect, taking a shit in this perfect world. It's this false face, and it's constantly screaming from within, like that's not truth. That's not, you're my only friend and everything like that. But it's just, you're fake. The fakeness that you put out in the world is always going to be untrue. Yeah. So let's see. I don't trust that voice in my head. It's the voice of the dead. So I don't trust this instinct that we have to be perfect all the time. Something like that. Anyway.
Rob.
So intense. If I take a shit in your perfect world, it's only so you know me by my smell. Like there's always a stank. There's always a fly in the ointment. There's always a spot of urine on your favorite tie.
That's the pee on the tie. I remember.
Well, and also shit's something we all do, and it is it's just so basic, right? It's like I gotta, you gotta deal with the shit. You can't hide it. Don't fucking bury it like a cat.
Totally.
Smell it like a dog.
And his rejection of it right at the end in both versions, he actually, loses his vocal control a little bit when you can go to hell. He's just absolutely squeezing every iota of rage and anger and rejection out of his, So musically, I never really sort of gave a lot of time, just like you were saying, because I knew the Mr. Wrong version so much better, that I didn't give a lot of time to the full band version. And no, it's incredible stuff going on. I mean, the snare drum in the second chorus is so open and raw, and the guitar effects and texture. I think I wrote the same adjective, haunting, that you used. It's Yeah, no, both versions are really, really great. But I think that for me, the Mr. Wrong version has to take the cake because it is so solitary. And it's just
God damn, I gotta listen to that. I only listened to the one on the album.
yeah.
It's
yeah.
on
I gotta
YouTube.
hear
You
that.
can find it. Yeah, it's on
I
YouTube.
gotta find it. I should have listened.
Just
to
look
that.
on YouTube. Look for Mr. Wrong State of
Yeah,
Grace on YouTube.
I'll
You'll find
I'll
it.
have to look it up.
I hadn't heard it till relatively recently, meaning in the last like couple of years. Before that, I'd never encountered it, so I didn't even know it existed.
It's probably
So
more
it's interesting
bleak
that's the
too,
first one
right?
you heard.
It's more stripped down and
I don't
bleak.
know that it actually feels really full to me. He can manage to make that song
yeah.
feel fucking full just on his bass. Yeah, does not feel. You of course you can hear.
Well,
there's
I
no
mean,
drums
just
or
because
guitar.
there wasn't other instruments, but it's like I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I don't know. It feels as
I'll have to listen to it.
It feels as anthemic to me as the full band version does, frankly,
All right.
which is really
Cool.
that's what I mean. Like, how fucking amazing is he that he can
Yeah,
give you that
that's tough to
feeling
pull off.
just from him and his bass? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yep.
All right. Well, boy, we got to vote. And I'm up first, which
This is a
I
hard
wanted
one.
to be first talking because I'm a fucking egomaniac, but I don't want to be first for voting. But I'm going to vote for, and let me be frank, that I love both of these songs. So this is not an easy one. It's not like, oh yeah, whatever. Both of these could go through and I'd be fucking happy, but This Wound Will Never Heal wins for me. Michelle.
My vote is going to be the one I was teetering towards, and I think it's just been solidified. I'm voting for State of Grace.
Very good. All right.
Oh,
I love these.
tiebreaker.
I love that. I love these little matchups.
Tension.
Woo.
It's really tough. This one's really, really tough for me because both of the earlier versions had actually meant a lot to me, and both of them are very. Neither of these songs have any of that no means no humor in them.
No, that's
No.
true. For
Yeah.
big time. Not a single joke in either fucking song.
No, certainly not. I think I have to go for This Wound Is Never Healed, though.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes. I don't know, man. I think
I mean,
this one could go
it's a
pretty
squeaker.
far.
It's a real squeaker.
All right.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I'm glad this was not unanimous, Michelle, because I fucking love.
They're both epic, man.
They're both epic. They're both epic. And I don't like to see. I do not like to see State of Grace go, but choices must be made.
they are so similarly epic.
Woo,
It's like
boy.
he could have a whole album of just his storytelling somber stuff. You know,
That's
it'd be
Mr.
like
Wrong.
listening to the
That's why he did
Smiths or
Mr.
something
Wrong,
like
right?
that.
Like, because he can do it.
Well,
can
yeah,
pull that
but
off.
you should just. It's
All
heavy
right.
stuff, man.
All right,
Heavy.
everybody, take a breath. Take a breath. I wish I could take a drink, but I've already drank my whole big drink, so I can't drink more, or else I'll be fucking drunk as shit. So you guys crack open your other beers if you want. Before we bring on our special guest, who I'm thrilled will give us a live listener submission, which is just about the best fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
I just want to remind everyone, I'm not going to plead. I'm not going to beg. We've been a little pleady and beggy in our last episodes. We're just really interested. Send us something in, right? Send us in one of these questions. What does no means no mean to you? What, how did you encounter them? Do you have a particular no means no story? Send it in to no means nothing podcast at gmail.com. We'd really love to hear it in all earnestness. If you're one of these people that never engages with the podcast, no means no is worth it. I don't know that we're worth it, but no means no is worth it. This will be out there for a long time. Some of the band is listening. If you put this out there, they might hear it. That's kind of cool, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
Send it in.
I think so.
So, Rolf,
Should I do a little introduction of who Rolf is to me?
Please do it. Please do it. Lead us in, Matthew.
Okay, Rolf is my oldest friend. We grew across the back alley from each other. This story I always tell. I'm about 7 months older than he is, and his folks always used to go to Switzerland in the summer. So my mom was pregnant with me when they left for Switzerland, and she had me while they were gone. And so then they got back, and they went up to the back fence or whatever, and my mom said, "Look what I made," and holds me up. And then Rolf's mom kind of backs away from the fence and shows the bulge where Rolf is. Look what I made. So I actually know this motherfucker prenatally.
That is amazing.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a trip, isn't it?
So we grew up together in Victoria, and he's still there.
Nice.
Oh, you're still in Victoria, Rolf. Oh, I guess I didn't know
Well,
that.
do you want to maybe mute Matt? Because I hate hearing myself
You know
in the
what?
background.
You don't have to worry about it. I'll be able to take care of that post.
Okay,
post.
all right.
So
You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn up the sound so I can just hear myself. Okay, good. So
Perfect.
that's Matt and my story. What we got to do is link that to No Means No, and Matt's going to have to correct me because I think he has a much more explicit and better memory of exactly how we both got into No Means No, because I think it was a collective shared experience. He reminded me recently that it was a friend of mine, Amanda from high school, one of the cool girls at school who was into skateboarding and all the cool stuff.
Oh, she's still cool.
Oh, she's still cool. She actually, you know what? She lives like 3 blocks away from me. It's a total trip. Has a dog.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
But she loaned me a bunch of music, and Wrong was among them, I believe, along with Bad Brains album. What else was in there, Matt? Do you remember?
I think there was Small Parts too. I think it was Small Parts and Wrong.
That's
Yeah.
right. And we listened to that, and we're just like, and this was what, grade 10, I think. So we were 15-ish. It was 1990. 0 plus 2 equals 1 hadn't come out. Wrong was kind of the shit. And yeah, that's how it happened. We're 15, 16. I've been reading a bunch of stuff that's been noting the 30th anniversary of a whole bunch of albums that came out in the summer of 91. Pearl Jam 10, Nirvana Nevermind, Metallica Black Album, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic. They all came out within 4 weeks of each other, I think, in August or September of 91. And I also read something recently that says that the music you listen to when you're 16 is sort of the peak of your acquisition of musical taste. And actually Spotify has done some number crunching because they can figure out what people are listening to the most, and they can cross-index that, cross-reference it with age data. And they've determined that for most people, their favorite songs come out around when they're 14 years old. And for women, it's 13. Men, it's 14, women, 13.
Huh.
And all of that kind of struck a note
that?
because Wrong came out when I was 14, I believe. And
No, 15.
15? Well, no, because I'm born later in the year. Remember, my mom was pregnant, and you were
Good point.
alive.
Good point. Yeah.
You're still cooking.
Yep. So there's something to that. So when you're introduced to music at 15, 16, it goes fucking right into you, right? It's with you for life. When you're stoked about something when you're 15 or 16, you don't give that up. And No Means No it came at the right time. And of course, because we're in Victoria, it came from the right place. So I'm only getting perspective on this year. I'm 40. Well, I don't know, what am I? 46 or something. I'm only learning now how lucky I was for No Means, to have grown up in Victoria, and for No Means No to have arrived, for them to release Wrong a year before I got into them at around 15, 16. Like the timing, and it's just serendipity. The most perfect fucking album in the world, one of them being Wrong, I'm just going to spill that, came out at the right time, so that it fit into who I was. So that's the origin. What else I got here? Yeah, 0 plus 2 equals 1 came out in July 91, and I remember that coming out and listening to it as a new release, and that just blowing me away. And I think it's hard to say which is my favorite, Wrong or 0 plus 2 equals 1, but this might upset some of your listeners. It might upset some of you. What happened to me after that is Andy left, and Why Do They Call Me Mr. Happy came out. I remember listening to it. I think I must have been 18 then.
I bought it for you.
Yeah. And you know what? I remember listening to it, and I remember feeling bad that I couldn't get into it because I felt a breach of loyalty because you were just fucking gone, Matt. Like, you're like, this is my band. And I could tell it was going to be a lifelong obsession, but I didn't follow you down that road. And I needed Andy back then because I was 18. I couldn't chew hard enough on the music. One of your other recent fan stories alluded to that too, that this is music you can't casually pick up. You've got to give it the time. and it takes some maturity and it takes some perspective for some of it to internalize it. And I wasn't ready back then. So I kind of turned my back on No Means No, and I was a frozen fan, basically up to 0 + 2 = 1. I was totally into all their earlier albums. I loved them, and I listened to them fairly regularly over the next, whatever it was, 30 years. But I just said to myself, no, I'm not into the Tom years. It's just not my thing. So flash forward to this year, and having with that kind of intro, obviously, I feel like a bit of a fish out of water and an imposter being invited on the show today, even though I'm Matt's oldest friend, because you guys are obviously speaking to super fans who are pulling their hair out and would kill for this opportunity. But I think rather than talk about what the band means to me, really, it's what this podcast has come to mean to me. And the three of you have done something for me this year that I wasn't looking for, but I'm so glad has happened. Every second I've listened to you guys has been pleasure. It's just been amazing. And I'm so glad I'm 19 hours in and or more, probably, 25 hours. You've improved my life. You've taken a day of my life and you've made it better. I don't listen while I'm pinching a loaf, as Jordan suggested in the last one I heard. I have a routine. It doesn't happen every week, every 2 weeks, but my routine is you guys go shopping at Costco with me. I'm afraid.
Nice.
I head out in my car on the highway. It's about a half-hour drive, and on the way out, I listen to all 4 songs. And then I get to Costco and I listen to the whole podcast while I'm shopping and picking up my 6 pounds of beef jerky or whatever. And inevitably at some point, I'm laughing out loud while I'm shopping and people are edging
great.
away and going, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? But it's one of my highlights every 2 weeks. It's fucking awesome. So
Rolf's a government lawyer and has 2 teenagers, so this is his me time.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of your fans would absolutely kill to be on this show, because I can see your faces right now, and it's fucking tripping me out. I don't know if you noticed, but I've had a shit-eating grin on my face this entire hour that we've been on. Because I mean, I've been listening to your voices and getting to know you, but to watch Jordan's passion shining all over his face while he's delivering. And then and Michelle, your expressions they're almost funnier than your fucking fucked up idioms, because man, you come out with some funny shit. But to see your expressions, it's just it's awesome.
Thanks, Ralph. Jeez,
so what else?
I'm getting all embarrassed.
What else do I got here? I got you guys are fucking quality people for sure. And the balance of the three of you, I don't know if anybody's said this to you, but I don't know who put you together, but you work so well together. It's just awesome. We got heart, we got soul, and we got mind. And I'm not saying who's who. It's amazing. So each show, I also got to tell you, because I'm a casual fan, as I have been, and I've been into their catalog from basically up to when Andy left and nothing after, I have the most intense experience, because you're either talking about a song that dives into some of the music that resides in the inner seams of my soul, in my core, that was forged at the peak of adolescence, or you're talking about brand new music by a band that I already love. So Jordan was saying he wishes Rob would make more music. Well, fuck, it's like they're making more music for me, because I have built-in guides. You guys are leading me on a full bore exploration of the music, the lyrics, the music, the backstory, and I'm mindfully and in a sort of holistic way observing and then embracing newness in a way that I would on my own. I mean, if I put on one of their later albums, in our today's world with all the distractions, I wouldn't sit down and listen to it uninterrupted. There's no way. But you guys actually help me take it in small bits. And I love every single moment, and I'm loving all of their later stuff now. It's absolutely making me a complete No Means No fan. So what you're doing for this band is you're creating new fans for their catalog. And if Alternative Tentacles gets off their ass and actually releases this stuff, or whatever's holding them up, if it's vinyl supplies or whatever, take my money. I want to buy all of it. So I hope the band
getting verklempt here.
I hope whoever's in charge of their future, I hope they realize that you guys are doing a huge marketing boost for them. Anyway, I've been talking way too much, but I got one story about No Means No. It was the summer of '91 when 0 + 2 = 1 came out. I was in Switzerland for the summer, 16 years old, kind of pissed that I was there. I missed my friends, and I had headphones all the time and listening to music. And I was walking
You were
around.
pissed you were in Switzerland?
Well, yeah, because it was like, as a teenager, you just want to be with your buddies.
Yeah,
and
you
I
miss
was
your buds.
taken away.
Yeah.
Well,
He's sick of the Swiss.
I think I had a girlfriend at the time too, and that was novel.
Oh, well, then
Well,
fuck
there's
you.
that.
So,
There's that then.
but I was walking around the old town of Switzerland, of Bern, the capital of Switzerland, and I was about 2 blocks over from the Capitol building, and they have these cool little underground shops off the old cobbled street, and there's a record store, and I went down there. And I was wearing my "Be Strong, Be Wrong" shirt, and
Look at you!
And
Look at you!
And I go in there, and I'm like, I don't know what I was looking for, but the guy running the shop's like, "Hey, no means no, yo, that's cool, good."
Good accent, man. That's fucking spot on.
Das ist den Hauptschips.
Holy
anyway.
shit! Look at him.
He quickly waves me over, and he's like, "Check it out. We have the new stuff," and he shows me their No Means No selection. And at that point I was like, yeah, this is just a college band from home. I had no inkling.
College band from home.
I had no
Oh my
inkling that
God.
they'd made it anywhere. Like, to me, they were just part of the fun times back at home, drinking and whatever. I guess I wasn't drinking at that point.
Oh my
16.
God.
But I had no concept that this little band from Victoria had made it to Switzerland. And he shows me, he's got all of their back catalog sitting in this store, and it completely blew my mind. And that's when I realized, wait a minute, this band is a little more than I thought it was.
Yeah, it
It was
is.
a trip. I had to go halfway across
I
the
hope
world
your
to
I
figure
hope
that out.
your soul swelled.
And I hope the Swiss man who is so nice to you is listening to this.
That'd be
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
Swiss
shit.
man.
Anyway,
Jeez.
thank you guys so much. This has been a total blast, and I'm gonna go pee in Matt's yard now.
Fuck, Rolf. That was. I don't even know what to say about that. That was incredible. Certainly not what I was
Rolf.
expecting. And thank you for your kind words. And I don't know that I could tell you what it means to me to hear you say that shit. That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, fucking just what I needed. That's
Wow.
great. Clearly
Rolf,
a
you're
great
the
friend to
shit.
Matthew, and clearly a great friend to the pod. So,
It might also
Yeah.
be said I haven't seen Rolf in 10 months.
oh man. Well, how long do you guys get to hang out on this trip?
You're in town for what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, this is a long one. I'll be.
Oh, good.
I'll be here till Friday.
Oh, no
so
wonder
we'll
why
see
you
each
don't
other.
want to record next week. You're gonna be hungover.
That's great. Well, fuck, man. Thank you, and thank you, Matthew,
Yeah,
for
Rolf.
bringing Rolf on.
Thanks.
That was
Jesus.
fantastic. That was fantastic. Rolf, you haven't heard this, but last week we did we got to play an unreleased track, an unreleased No Means No track from the Andy era. So this is 2 weeks in a row when we've had really special listener submission sections. So this was a great follow up to that. So
I don't think
thank you for
I
that.
don't think I compare to that. Sorry.
I think you do. Well, you do for me. that was fucking great. That was great for us. That was great for us. Anyway, fuck.
Now he's gonna go use the toilet in Matt's
All right.
backyard.
Now he can go
Yeah.
tinkle.
He's going to pee
Oh
on my
my-
Star Jasmine.
Well, shit.
God.
On that note, I guess we get to move into
Jeez.
our round two. That was crazy.
Oh, Rolf.
What a great guy.
Kind words. Holy shit.
Jesus.
I know. I don't know what to say now.
Clearly, Matthew, a very good and amazing human, is friends with very good and amazing humans. That's just how it works,
Yep.
I guess.
Well, we already know that because we're on a podcast with you two assholes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
All right. Well, speaking of assholes, no, there's not an asshole in this next one, I guess. But we've got two more songs, and this is a much, much different pairing. I mean, one of the songs, maybe, I don't know, whatever. It's much different.
We're very, very far apart. In
They're
terms of
very
release.
far apart in time. Exactly. Very far apart in time. Very far apart in everything. They're very far apart.
Hey.
Our first contender is Our Town by Thornton Wilder. No, Our Town off of One from 2000 versus Dead Bob. You know him, you love him, you've hung him off Sex Mad 1986. This time Matthew gets to lead us off, but before that, we're going to take a little tour of the town.
In our town, the bosses curse the working man. breath. There are guns, guns, and empty eyes staring up in death. There are guns, guns, banging on the door of flesh. In our town, 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 in our town.
All right, Matthew, you're up. Our town.
Okay, from 2000 off of One of the very, very long songs on One, Our Town. Again, One is not an album that is the one that I would start with.
But it was the one you started with. You get it? I
I
got you. I'm doing the dad jokes this week, baby.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So yeah, it took a little while for me to. I wasn't able to buy it right away, so it took a little time for me, and I wasn't really into listening to this kind of music for around that time. So yeah, it took a little while for me to connect with it. But yeah, I feel this song is it's one of Rob's kind of storytelling ones, and it's all about how our town and towns are the same everywhere. There's violence, there's domestic violence. There's dirty stuff. There's the whores and the cops. I mean, those lines that he switches, they ain't pretty and they ain't cheap, stopping strangers they meet, and it's the cops or the whores, and they do the same thing. Yeah, so
The horse.
musically, the bass line is mostly the same, and sometimes it just like lets go, and John really lets go on the hi-hat, those kind of open 16th notes, kind of fantastic. In terms of the lyrics, though, there are references to all different kinds of places, which I hadn't really noticed before. Certainly, the Paydays on Friday and the neon lights and everything could be anywhere in the West. The muezzin and the minaret, that's the Middle East. There's, the dead are being burned in India. The monk and the begging bowl could be India. China, or the Confucian world, Japan.
What the fuck?
And then the black girls dance for the king of the parade or something like that. It's any place that has Mardi Gras. So it could be the Caribbean. It could be New Orleans. So our town is always the same. There's people grubbing in the port. This is always a port city, which is kind of interesting.
Right.
I think that, the river and everything, Vancouver has two ports. One is on the river and one is on the ocean inlet. So I think it's very, very porty place, largest port in Canada, one of the largest ones in North America, I believe. And so I think, the cranes loading stuff and just the oil and shit is certainly inspired by the fact that Vancouver, for all its vaunted beauty, is a jumped up resource town, and it has a lot of foulness in it, and it certainly does. So I don't know. It's a very interesting characterization, but I think it's a little bit, for me, a bit of a one note kind of song. Like he's sort of telling the same story over and over again. That's fine. I love there's keyboards towards the end, which is pretty cool. A little bit. And then it gets a little bit quiet, and there's background vocals, which I believe is Tom. I always like when you can sort of identify Tom. The little plucking guitars, and it ends on a high ringing note. So it's like the continuation. Like there's always going to be this grinding city, and it's the same every fucking where. That's all got to say about our town.
Nice. Michelle.
I feel like a jackass, man. I thought he was talking about the same place. I feel like a dillweed.
He is.
No, but he's not. You're saying all these other places.
But all places are the same.
But you were like geographically going around and shit. I was just in the same, zip code.
It
I was
is
like,
the
I
same
don't
zip
want to
code.
fucking live there. I'll tell you
The
that.
same shit smelling oily zip code.
Well,
The shit code.
Yeah.
yeah. All right, here's what I got. This song starts out with a sorrowful bass line, and then our storyteller Robs tells us another story. I especially dig the sneaky chorus parts and the line about the whores not being pretty or cheap. I thought that was very clever, Matthew. You alluded to that, and it kills me. There's an especially cool sound effect in the second chorus that must be some kind of keyboard thing. Do you know what I'm talking
Is that
about?
that atonal like Yeah, I love that.
fucking robot thing. I don't know.
It's so disconcerting. It's so
I
disconcerting.
don't know what it is.
And what is
but
it? Is it a
I
keyboard?
Like it.
Are those
it's
the
a
keyboards you were
keyboard.
talking about, Matthew? Is that what you were referring to? when you
It
talked
is,
about
but
keyboards?
yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say that it's kind of like the mechanical nature, like sort of
Yeah.
automated nature of the city.
But I
and
love
everything.
that it's hard to pin down. Like none of us is quite sure what it is, but it's so
But I couldn't
disconcerting
even
and
like.
fucking
I
weird.
couldn't even hum the note that it's playing because it's
No.
just
Yeah.
like a this.
It's got a
so
bend on it.
weird.
That's why, yeah.
It's got a blob.
Bow,
on
bow,
it.
bow,
Yeah.
bow, bow, bow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. It's cool though. This song and its subject matter sounds so depressing and oppressive in a place you could never escape from if you had the misfortune of being raised there. See, I was thinking it's the same place.
Well, it is. It's,
I
you're
don't
not
know.
contradicting. I don't think you're contradicting.
No,
him.
no,
It's
totally
the
No, but
same-
I'm impressed that
whether
he
it's
was naming all the
specific or
places.
general,
I
is
feel
it's the
ignorant.
same world.
I like the line there are guns banging on the door of flesh. How cool is that? That line is really artful and clever. It's a clever way to relay that crime, and I love Tom's guitar riff that sounds like an ambulance siren.
Yes.
Did you? Yep.
I thought that too. Yeah.
Now, let me
Good
ask you
pull.
something. If you know what that's talking about, the sirens for ambulances here in the States don't sound like that, but they do in Europe, what Tom was playing in. I don't know if they do in Canada. I certainly don't want to hear sirens in Canada, but the European
interesting.
sirens, we don't have the same sound here. I like the ending. It's sneaky cool, and it's depressing as the song is. That's kind of a shitty way to end everything. I don't.
Well, it's a depressing, shitty song, and not shitty song, but a song about shit.
Right, depressing
right?
is shitty, and
No, I think you nailed it. You nailed a lot of the stuff. I
don't
mean,
like
both
it.
of you have said much of what I'd want to say about this song. I mean, everything
my
was
ending
on point.
sucks.
What's that?
My ending sucks. My paper, the paper here.
Please.
I don't like it.
We're in the
I got
Michelle
my rights.
we're in the Michelle self-deprecating zone. We've all been there.
Yep.
I'm
Deal with it. I live with it daily.
Yeah, I'm about to enter my little corner of it, my own self-deprecating zone. So, yeah, this song, it's 8 minutes 2 seconds, something
Whoa.
like that. It's really long. I mean, I really like the song. First time I heard this was when they were touring the EP. They were touring the Would We Be Alive EP, and this hadn't come out yet. So this was a new song that I heard, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And it's always weird for me to hear, especially a band like No Means No playing a song I'm not used to, because I love to hear them play live songs that I know in my heart so I can follow along. So when I'd hear a song that I didn't know, it's kind of like, I mean, Who Fucked Who I heard on a different tour, and that blew me away. This one was a little harder to follow, and I was like, oh, it's great, but it's not pyrotechnic, and I couldn't follow the lyrics as well. So I don't think it glommed onto me. But then when I heard it on one going, oh, yeah, that was that song. So I really like the song. I'd be loath to say this, and I know Matthew, you've said this about other songs, it might overstay its welcome just a little bit. I don't know that it needs to be as long as it is, but it is. It's as long as it is. But it's a great fucking song. It's a great story. And Matthew, I think you fucking nailed it. And Michelle, I think you nailed it when you say it's about somewhere specific, and it's not about somewhere specific. This really is a song about the archetypal city, right? Like this is about what cities do to people and what cities are for people kind of throughout history. It's a very contemporaneous song,
Yeah.
but these are struggles that have been going on forever, and it's the same shit everywhere. And
Sex, commerce, violence.
Exactly. And the
I love living in the city.
the powerful shitting on the weak and the weak doing shit to each other, all of that. So you know, I think in a sense, if I'm comparing the two songs that explicitly talk about guns, I think I like this better than I've Got a Gun. Even though I've Got a Gun is a funner punk song, I think this one's more artful. And these are two songs where Rob's talking about shit that
Two songs.
might
What
not-
about Rich Guns?
yeah, well, that's true. Sorry, you're right. You're right. That's the third one, but we haven't even talked about that song yet. So of the two we've talked about,
Okay. Sorry.
but no, you're right. Of those two songs, this one feels more archetypal, and so I can relate to it more. Meaning, it's less. I don't feel so much of that. Like, Rob, you don't really like. You shouldn't really be talking about this. This isn't your world. Like, why are you? Which is how I felt a little bit about Rich Guns. I mean, not Rich Guns. Now you got me. About I've Got a Gun. It's like, you're just looking from afar, watching this on CNN and making comments. This feels a little bit more like.
I dare you to say that to him. Oh,
I would.
I would pay money.
I would
really?
if I had a conversation.
Really?
Sure, why not? He'd take it. I'm not right. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm full of shit. What do I know?
He is, though.
I'm just a fucking idiot. But I feel like this one is more rooted in sort of the general archetypal nature that he can sort of comment on legitimately, because he's a brilliant fucking thinker, and it deals with more than just one asshole's attempt to feel powerful with a gun. This deals with.
Did you just call Rob an asshole?
No. The character of I've Got a Gun. Keep up. And so this one's more general. I think, Matthew, you pointed out that shit. I always like to point out his subtle, and Michelle did too, those lyrical flips, the cops and the whores. I thought that was fucking great. I love how he does that.
Very clever.
And there's a lot of meaning in the flip, actually. Like the way he phrases each of those lines applies so well in both of the flips that it could have been just written one of those ways and been perfect. But he flips it, and it's like, oh, it's even fucking better that he gives both of those characters, the cops and the whores, their attendant line in succession. It makes it even fucking better. It's beautiful and brilliant in that sense. I think the lurching bass line, it really gives this feeling of oppressive drudgery and that sort of crushing routine that can happen anywhere, and especially in cities.
Routine, yeah.
And then the where he ends the verses sometimes, like at the end of those verses, he gets that. He strains his voice and he's crying out, just that sense of just standing on the top of a roof and being like, what the fuck am I? What's happening here?
Fuck this shit.
It's really good. And I think, I made a joke in the beginning about how this is not Thornton Wilder's Our Town, but in a sense, this is a modern Thornton Wilder's Our Town. This really is like a modern sort of like what it's like to live in a city. Our Town, that show that everybody does in high school or is seen in high school that's about small town life. Well, fuck that. That's like 1910 or 1920. This is modern Our Town. This is what it's like to fucking be in the modern city. It's shitty.
Sucks.
And it's not all shitty. There are moments of joy here and there, but they're mostly subverted by the fact that they're at the service of power or at the service of poverty. It's, I'm not at the service of commerce. Well, there are little moments of joy, like the parades. The people that are in the parade are going to experience joy. The Musain may feel joy in his. Even the Christian with his cigarette or the beggar with his bowl may have a moment of joy, but they're in a system. They're subsumed by the city. The city is larger. Our Town is the character, not any of the individuals. It's this.
Totally.
I mean, Matthew, you got this. That's
a good point.
It is Our Town. It's the prototypical fucking city that could be in any country in the world. And I also, Michelle, like you, love that guns banging at the door of flesh. That is a great lyric. That is fucking, and the unsettling keyboards underneath it make it even weirder and worse and just like it skews me out in the best possible way. It's great. I think that line works better sung by Rob with those vocals than it does when I write it on the page. It's a little overwrought when I just read it, but when I hear him sing it, and I hear those keyboards underneath it, it works. It works really fucking good.
It's the word flesh. You can't say flesh. You got to say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Flesh is not to be.
Exactly. It's like moist. You can't just say moist too much. Or
moist.
So this is a song. This is a song full. Oh, stop it. This is a song full of menace, dread, and doom, and in that order. And
ointment.
But completely fucking mundane.
Completely fucking mundane. Is it my favorite on this album? No, absolutely not. But I really respect it, and I think it's a banger song in its own right.
It's just trying to make raw flip instead of ointment.
It certainly fits on this album. It is definitely of a piece of one. It couldn't have been anywhere else, and it's definitely, it feels like all Rob all the time. But there we go. Yeah. All right, I guess that's it. We'll move on to a completely different fucking song. One maybe Rolf imprinted on a little bit more because it's from the old era. We've got Dead Bob, our hanging friend. from Sex Mad, 1986, and this is actually off of Sex Mad, not You Kill Me. So it's definitively off of Sex Mad, and came after. I think it came after She Beast on the Canadian, or no, on the US version, and off of Love Thing on the US version, something like that. Maybe that's reversed.
Yeah, I forget. It's last.
In any event,
song
different
on
order,
the Bob
last
side.
and first. Exactly. So anyway, we're going to let Matthew talk about this, but first we're going to listen to the creaking of the rope.
Dead Bob. Dead Bob. Dead.
It was so polite. Psychedelic of the night. I'm gonna get up tonight. Cut you all you slice. Mary had a little lamb. And then she had some veal. She's like a beer down throat. And she threw up. I leave a little note. Hang bumming on the rope. Leads to the bottom's nest.
All right, Matthew, what you got?
Oh, Dead Bob, so iconic. It's kind of interesting, actually, that the cover art. It never actually says anywhere that that's Dead Bob.
But we all know.
We all know. We all
He's
know.
smiling.
He's grinning. He's happy. Okay, talk first about the bass sound. Oh my god, it's so.
Holy shit
me a
in the
break.
can.
Yeah, it sounds like it's either in a toilet in a
Oh my
basement,
god.
dripping water everywhere, or maybe it's like the containment bottle in a fusion reactor.
Perfect.
Yeah. Distant hollering. I mean, this song has so fucking many time changes.
Everything.
So much shouting. Distant hollering is some of my favorite things in No Means No songs. Andy
bet
is
it is.
absolute snottiest, perhaps. In this, I don't know. It's interesting that Dead Bob, and then this whole Bob Slade dichotomy that maybe seems to be what they're talking about in State of Grace for me, or at
weird
least in
being
my
a Bob.
analysis. Like it's weird being a Bob. Bob is the face, the shining face, and then Slade is what's underneath, and what is the real deal.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah. So much in this, just like the mundanity and like my father was of the sky, my mother was of the earth, and I'm just ignorant, stupid little goof.
Stupid fucking.
What if
Yeah.
and how it just goof at the end.
Little.
So great. I love the part. I always kind of thought that was like the hesitation as like he's about to hang himself, and that's the hesitation. Of like he's gonna flip the chair, and
nice.
then flips it into ding 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 ding. Now things can really start. Yeah. And then he gets sort of, I'm sorry. So blubbering, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry at all. And what a fucking song for them to reference. I mean, it's Cream.
No
Yeah.
shit.
Why is there cream in here? So it's sunshine.
That's
of my
what I
love.
just did when I heard it.
Yeah.
Oh no!
All
All right. I'm sorry.
So many
Oh,
little.
God.
We know, Michelle.
Matt,
we've
please
learned
take
from
that out.
Facebook. We've learned from
Please-
Facebook
please
recently.
take it out.
We've learned from Facebook recently that Michelle
Take that
thinks
out.
music
Take
is
that
all
out.
about sex, and she proves it every podcast.
No,
That's true.
no.
And yet,
Take that out, I
sorry,
said.
sorry.
one of my favorite parts is when do what do what what so rat-a-tatting parts where the guitar and the bass trade places. Such a loose
Fucking
and
hell.
sloppy ending. I don't know. Pretty fantastic song. I'm almost a little incoherent because it's
It's kind of an incoherent song.
It's an incoherent song, and more and more I'm starting to think that Sex Mad may be my favorite. No, me
Ooh.
so yeah. Ooh.
We'll see. We
Alrighty.
still got a lot of the great ones left to come. We'll see if we
It's
can.
true. It's true.
If that changes. All right, Strangey, you're up.
I'm still affected by my mouth.
Why?
Come on, man.
Me too.
I'm a filth. I'm a
Fucking.
pervert.
Do you know how many times I say fuck every episode? This is.
Yeah,
this
but I
is-
just said cream my jeans.
So what? This is why we love you. This is why the listeners love you. Lean
All right.
into it.
Oh,
Lean
really?
into
Really?
it.
We
No.
love the sunshine of your love.
Oh,
Yes, exactly.
She also
All right.
said something about ointment and moist panties.
Moist. Come on, those are the 3 words that
Are
make
your
people cringe.
panties wet? No, are your
I'll tell
panties
you, if
moist
they
from
played
the
another
ointment?
gig,
Stop
if they
it.
played another gig,
If they played
You
another
could be
gig, my
sh-
panties would be moist.
yeah,
Okay,
I
so
can't
let's.
guarantee it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Stranger.
Yeah.
What do you think of Mr.
All right,
Bob?
all right. This doozy is a firmly executed assault to your senses. The song structure keeps it serious, interesting, and rather funny with the faraway answers to the kooky questions. The way Rob's bass sounds in this, it's industrial, it's fucked up, and it's manic. Andy's angular and distorted guitar sounds like a chainsaw or a bandsaw, and it's as possessed as Rob's bass. One of the shining stars in this is the delivery of the twisted, demented lyrics and the delivery of them. Mary had a little lamb, and that
The
she had
shit's real.
It's humorous. I wrote that. Here, everything. But it also gives me the creeps. That veal line there. I love it. Please excuse my thoughtlessness. I'm sorry for the mess. A complete art punk blowout that kills.
Oh, it's so.
And I love the cream riff at the end.
So fucking good.
I love the politeness of the note. Is so.
Please excuse
Exactly.
my thoughtlessness.
Okay, I am so glad
Fucking
that I
hell.
get to point out, and maybe you both know this and just didn't point out, but there's a fucking Beatles lyric in this song.
Get the shit out of here.
Do you not know that? From
No,
I'm So
no.
Lonely.
Oh.
My mother's of the sky, my father's of the earth is from I'm So Lonely.
Oh wow!
It's my mother's of the sky, my father's of the earth, but I am of the universe. So for him to say my mother's the sky, but my father's of the earth, but I'm a stupid fucking ignorant little goof is the
I've lost
best
my
twist.
Beatles cred.
Is a best twist on a Beatles lyric ever. I
lost
fucking
my
love it.
My Beatles cred.
I know it's so awesome.
Fucking yeah, I
You
can't
didn't
believe I
know
could-
that.
No,
can't
but
believe I get
you didn't know it, and that's the point. Ah, yay! I don't
him
like the
celebrate.
Beatles. You love the Beatles.
I do, but you know what? I don't listen to the lyrics. Go fuck yourself. Makes
So-
complete sense to me.
Everything you guys have both said is right on point. This song is a frenetic mess. What I love about listening to this song is
Frenetic mess.
you know that this song never sounded the same twice. Like never, ever, ever, ever did this song sound the way it sounded when they recorded it. You'd only got this once ever.
Please
And
excuse my ignorance.
this song, both lyrically, not the lyrics, but the delivery of the lyrics, and this is a song, one of the songs that defines early Andy guitar for me. It's so sloppy, messy, unartful, and perfect. It's just
Oh man.
perfect. He is just frenetically all over the fucking place and fills it in like Jackson fucking Pollock. But in unlike some other songs, Rob is also, I don't even know what his fingers are fucking doing. I don't know what that bass line is. No one could do this bass line. Like, what the fuck is that? What is he doing? He's got like 100 fingers. He's just going like, I don't know what he's doing, but it's
Oh my god.
messy and weird and beautiful, and all of the time changes and the different elements of this song. It's definitely an early period masterpiece.
I can't believe you two fucking guys grew up in the same town this was happening in.
Yeah, I know.
I would walk
trying,
so straight down the street being like, fuck
trying
all
not to
y'all.
be jealous.
Oh.
I love
Fuck.
the way that this song deconstructs at the end and just gets fucking nuts. And
Yeah.
you hear
Yeah.
all the little lines. You hear Andy at the end. Oh, that's so sad. And then him yelling at the very end. Are you happy now? Are you happy now? Like it's just this beautiful, sick. This is a sick song, man. And I love
Yeah.
the fact that you've got this. It's clearly Bob's just sick of everyone's shit. He is sick of living in this bourgeoisie, middle class, polite. You've got all of these like little nursery rhymes, you know, like Mary had a little lamb, and just like
Let's Edgeville.
I hung
It's just-
myself. So fuck you.
fuck
fuck
you.
you.
But everything, all the verses start with these like the most generic, stupid platitudes that everyone in the world knows. This happy little character, just like you said, Matthew, Bob and Slade, this happy little character, like I live in this stupid bullshit world and fucking fuck it. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm out. Sorry for my thoughtlessness. Sorry for the mess. But you know what? I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry.
He's gleeful.
He is gleeful, which is why back down to one of the best pieces of album art of Bob happy to be dead, right? Like, I'm out. See you guys.
See ya.
If I die before I wake, you'll know I've made my escape, right? Like it's
with a
right
smile
there.
on his face.
With
Hilarious.
a smile on his fucking face.
Yep.
And probably a little bit of a boner too.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that happens.
It goes with the cream.
He creams his jeans when he dies. And that cute little cat who's just like, who's going to fucking feed me now? I always feel bad for the cat.
Hey, do you know? Do you
That's
know
why they
which?
cream at the end.
Do you know which video this showed up on? Do you remember the video this showed
Oh yeah.
up
This
Tired of
was
Waiting.
in Tired of Waiting.
on?
Yep.
Yes.
So
it's Tom.
a
know, he's so
great
cute.
song about the horror of, waking up in the middle of middle class existence and just going, what the fucking vapid hell am I fucking in? What the fuck is this shit? And I don't know, like, it's literally about suicide as much as just that feeling of being, and they were young and in that world and in a world that didn't feel real to them probably, and just going like, what the fuck is this? I'm out. This is bullshit and I'm out. And one of the ways to get out is just hanging from a knotted rope. Great. Weird. Fucking weird. I haven't always appreciated this song actually as much as I do now. I've always liked it, but the more frenetic, weird, sloppy parts of No Means No weren't always my favorite, but I adore this song now. I think it's fucking genius. And that's it. Big Chef's kiss. Mwah, to this dead Bob and his smelly fucking semen-ridden pants. All right. Let's vote. Matthew, you're up.
It's Dead Bob by a country mile. It's that's a tough one. I mean, Our Town, it's interesting, but it's a bit one note for me. Dead Bob is it's just hilarious, and that is what maybe some of the other songs that we've done tonight just
it's the only bit of humor in the whole night.
One of the most important things about No Means No to me, and so that's it really encapsulates the whole No Means No ethos and mythology all in one. So Dead Bob for sure.
Michelle, how about you?
Well, I'm voting the same thing, but it's just like with what Matthew just said. I mean, we kind of went a little mental when this song came on, right?
Because the song is mental.
Like the three other ones that we did were just kind of on the serious, somber side, and then we get to this one. And
I needed a release
because it's extremely weird.
We went like.
You can spaz out to this song just like they do, unlike the other ones where you have to be a little bit more respectful.
I'm voting Dead Bob.
Oh, and so it's incredibly complex. Incredibly fucking complex.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is not 3-chord punk. This is fucking, it's a masterpiece in its own right.
Art.
All right, well, I guess I'm going to have to be contrary and vote for, no, I'm not, Dead Bob, all the way.
Oh my God.
By a million miles. What? I mean, Our Town's great in its own right. It's not my favorite off of one. My favorites off of one haven't come up yet, so I can't wait to hit some of those others. There's some fucking banger shit that I got some dissertations in the tank.
For an album with not very many songs on it, not very many of them have come up yet. So
no, not yet. But Dead Bob is, come on, if you don't like Dead Bob, I don't know.
Yeah.
Go hang yourself. Wow. No, don't really.
Oh my God.
I don't mean it. All right. Well,
do I need to cream my jeans again to erase what you just said?
We've sent through a wound that will never heal to keep Dead Bob company while they swing off the rope in heaven. And unfortunately, Our Town is...
my mother doesn't listen to this.
Our Town is nobody's town, and State of Grace is not so graceful. So that's our votes for today. Please tell us how shitty of a job we did. Some of you have been doing that, which I appreciate.
Yeah, thank you. We love to know how we suck.
Well, we're always wrong. Every No Means No song is amazing. So yes, all our votes are wrong. How could they not be? Your view is subjective and you're also wrong. So fuck you. That's how it goes. But we love you. Please reach out to us. If you don't want to send us in stories on nomeansnothing.pod, just write in and
just show up at Matthew's house and you can sit in.
Reach out. Yeah, exactly. We do love to hear. And you know what? Listen, let me make a little bit, and that's not a plea, but let me ask folks. We've kind of hit our cap of listeners, which is not a problem. We got a lot of listeners. We like it. But if you're listening to this and you like it, you don't have to give us a review. I don't know if that helps anything, but we love it. It's for our egos. You don't have to, join the Facebook group. Maybe you hate Facebook. You should. It's shitty. It's the only thing good on it is our podcast.
Especially when it conks out and I'm trying to drink coffee in the morning.
That's right. But, if you are on any of the social medias, and you probably are, because that's probably how you heard about this, mention us, share it around, hit up your friends who don't know about us. We have room to grow. I'd love
Don't
to
tell
grow a
my
little
mother.
bit more. And one of the ways you can do that is by going like, hey, you know what? There's this podcast that's all right, and maybe you'd like it if you like their music, or if you don't know No Means No, listen to it. Maybe you get introduced to them. You know, help us out. Because to Rolf's point, for me, the best thing about this band, the best fucking thing that could come out of this band, would be to make more No Means No fans. Absolutely,
Right.
the best fucking thing in the world would be to get more people into this band, and pretty soon, more people will have the opportunity if whatever that vinyl, backlog breaks through, and
when
they
is
release that shit. So let's
gotta make some calls.
let's all do our part and get this band out there. And one of the ways you can do that is to get people listening to our stupid asses. So,
All right.
do that or not, but it sure would make us happy. All right. Anybody else got it? Well, first of all, big thanks to Rolf for being on the podcast.
Rolf,
that was
jeez.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
great.
Thanks to me.
Great
Thanks
to watch
each of
you watching us the whole time.
Yeah, you're not used to having an audience like pulling
No,
faces
no.
and laughing, but this has been
I loved it.
absolutely amazing. I'm so sorry for all of you listening that you don't have this experience yet, maybe, but it was fucking awesome. And may you all spring boners and cream your jeans and poop your pants until you're done this incredible task of going through each one of their tracks. Because man, it's a divine kind of task you've set yourselves, and I commend you. And Godspeed.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Rolfie poo. What the shit?
So I guess all that's left to ask, and I think Matthew could probably answer this question, are any of my friends here? I can't see.
Wait a minute.
Can't see.
Yo.
Oh, wait,
yo.
I forgot it.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
yeah. Dimwit.
Well, this is good. I have fucked up the whole
you have to say it
podcast.
again
I
and
fucked up the
embarrass your
whole
shit. Are you
podcast.
going to be embarrassed?
I fucked up the whole podcast because we have one of our most special segments left. And Michelle gets to read this and play her little harmonium. I was such in a hurry to get the fuck off the phone with you fuckers.
Melodica.
All right, you're
I-
melodic.
You
I
want
do
me
it?
to read this
Can I
and
do
do that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, yes,
I
Rolf.
want Rolf to do it. But
Does
wait,
he have
I got it.
There we go.
Wait,
Oh,
we've got it for
Rolf's
real.
going to do that part. I
Oh,
thought
good.
you wanted to read it.
No.
No, read it.
All right. You want to do it again, Rolf, or are you okay with what you just did? All right. I am going to read Andy's corrections. Cat, sex, and Nazis. Rob wrote the main riff while John wrote the, quote, zombie bridge music. The zombie words were the basis of a much earlier No Means No song called, wait for it, Zombies. I have a couple of mid-'80s set lists with Zombies listed as an encore song. I don't remember it being an actual song per se, but rather a catchy drum riff that repeated over and over with the zombie chant sitting on top of it. Cat, Sex, and Nazis started with just Rob's 2-bar bass part along with his lyrics. One of us at practice saw an opportunity to add the old Zombies chant to change up Cat, Sex, and Nazis, albeit with a different drum part. All right, next thing is I Think You Know. Oh God. That's me hyperventilating and wondering how
There's a little moistness.
it's the song is moist inducing. I'd like this. This is Andy now. I'm done having feminine things. This is Andy now. Okay, I Think You Know. I like this one a lot. Oh, see, he likes it. Another 0+2 song with the vocals that trade off. It reminds me of a car with the wheels beginning to come off as it races out of control. Matthew, didn't you say that?
I said
you
something like
fucking
that.
said it. You
Yeah.
fucking said it. And he,
Yep.
can you imagine playing this and he knows that that's what he's delivering?
Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
God. Anyways, all right, here comes Andy again. Playing the song for us was not so much a groove as it was bloody hard work. Oh, wow. When we played it live, I don't think it ever came across to the audience very well. Nothing funny to see here.
Fuck that. Who the fuck
the
wouldn't
hell does
lose
that
their
mean?
shit seeing this live?
Oh my God.
I'm still got a call. Well, I don't think the listeners have heard our episode yet that has this on it. No, they just did. I've never seen a live version posted anywhere. If anybody's got this,
Yeah, that's a good point.
please
Yeah.
surface it. Please.
Yeah.
Shit.
Jesus.
Anyway, There we go, Andy. As always,
So
thank you
what did
very
he
much,
say?
sir.
He said it was like really hard to play. It's like they couldn't even enjoy it because they were working too hard.
I can imagine this is a hard fucking song.
Oh, they're changing the
know.
emphasis and all sorts of crazy shit. I can't imagine like they'd have to practice
Wow.
it so much or like
Yep.
have
So
telepathy.
tight.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's such a
But
tight
they
song.
had. I hope they looked out at the audience and saw all the faces and the bulging eyeballs and crotches.
It doesn't sound like
going,
it. Sounds like it never.
We're killing it.
Sounds like it never came across very well. Like people didn't react very well. Which fuck those folks. I don't know what
Well,
their
then
problem
they're just
was.
gonna have to do it again in front of us, and you'll get a
Oh,
reaction
no,
out of me. I'll tell you.
Bruno!
No, come on. We should find that guy and have him on our podcast.
Exactly.
Be like, what
If
the
you're listening,
hell
contact
is
us.
wrong with you?
If you're listening, contact us.
Oh, the guy.
He's
All right.
Dutch. He's a Dutchie.
Exactly. All right. Well, now
Bruno.
you've actually reached the real end of the podcast, not the fake end.
You're gonna have to think of another quote there.
No, if any of my friends here are.
No?
I can't do.
Okay.
You're sticking around for the secret ending.
Oh, right.
Oh, the terrible machine.
The terrible
Engage
machine.
the terrible machine. Everybody
Getting
crouch.
ready. Hold
Wait,
on,
I
gotta
need to get my
gotta
paper.
find it. Your paper. Here it comes.
My
Secret ending.
5x8
I
paper.
don't even know if Rolf knows about the secret ending yet.
No.
Haven't released it.
Are you staying over at Matthews, Ralph? Are you going to stay over?
No,
And sleep in the garage?
I'm in a hotel downtown. I'll be taking some kind of
Oh.
mass public transit down there.
There you go.
Okay, here it comes, folks. Here's number one. Oh,
Uh-oh.
Huh.
that's a weird pairing.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
weird.
no,
weird
come on. Is
pairing.
it bad?
No, it's not bad. Did you read it?
Oh, you're going to put it on the thing.
It's in chat.
Oh.
Where else?
This
I can't say it out
This is
loud.
how you learn what
I
your
forget.
next ones are. Oh, I
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
love it. That's so cool.
Yeah.
He started
But
a
just
new
don't.
rule.
If you can see it, don't read them out.
I won't.
Yeah.
But this. So people can hear this.
No!
Oh, no!
Oh no!
What- what-
No!
Oh no!
Oh, my God. Wait.
What is it? I can't see it.
Jordan, did what I think happened? Jordan, did what I think happened?
No!
Oh shit!
Oh, my
shit.
God. I know it. I'm going to say it.
What is it? What is it? Oh, you fucker!
No! I quit. The podcast is over.
I know what it is. I know what it
You
is.
don't know what it is, but it's close
I
to that.
do.
The podcast is over.
Oh!
Fuck!
Oh,
No!
that's a bad one.
Oh
I
god!
literally just threw something. No!
That's a bad one. It's not
I
as bad.
literally
not,
quit.
Not quite as bad. Not quite as bad as it could have been for you, but yeah.
Right.
It's pretty
One of-
bad. Fuck.
Oh, are you going to cry?
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, that's a shitty one. That's gonna be some fucking work. That's gonna be some work.
Are you kidding?
Oh,
You knew
you
you were
got to
in
take
for
the day
this.
off of work.
You know
God
You got to
damn
take
it.
the
and there'll be more of these. Can you imagine the last like 10 shows? Can you imagine
Oh,
what you guys
no.
are facing? Like, you think
But
it's
at least
hard
then I
now?
will have been able to vote through some of these babies. I have to get rid of one of these? No, I refuse. Oh, babies. All right. Well, on that note, I guess you've got some dramas here later, everybody.
Do you want to smoke a bunch of weed before
Oh, I'm
this?
going to. I've got.
You want to bring the bottle of Amarnia?
Oh no, I better not. I'm gonna have to be straight as fuck for this episode. We'll have
No,
to see.
don't.
All right, everybody.
Bring it.
We'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye.